Some of its parts was the title of an installation I did in late 2014, a few years ago now, at Kennesaw State University. The ideas for this exhibit started forming the year before when friend and fellow indigo dyer and weaver Eduardo Portillo and I spent a week working together in my studio. Because of my own growing interest in expanding the reach of my work through production dyeing, I was asking him lots of questions about how he and his wife Maria had been so successful in supporting themselves through their production weaving studio over the years, while also sustaining a very, very active career as artists. And in turn, Eduardo had a single, very basic question for me that I couldn't answer at the time. He asked me, "How much can you dye in one of your vats?" Implying that until I knew the answer to that question, I couldn't start exploring the basic economics of production dyeing. So this installation, Some of Its Parts, began as a very sort of simple inquiry into the concept of amount. How many indigo plants produce how much dye stuff that turns, in turn, produces how much color on cloth. This installation was another collaboration with Norbert Herber, who's a sound artist that I've been working with for the past few years. And in it, we just tried to quantify the process and materials related to the work that I do with indigo. So we collected data and used that data as a means of shaping what you saw and heard in the gallery, irrespective of like our personal preferences or any like taste. We didn't try and make it look a certain way. We just tried to be very matter of fact. So there were the 1,200 row feet of indigo plants, 62 pounds of composted indigo, and 664 yards of dyed cloth were presented in mostly accurate amounts. To answer that initial question of how many plants, how much dye stuff, and how much color they produce on cloths, I say mostly accurate amounts because I ordered 600 meters of cloth, thinking there's no way I'm going to dye all this cloth with this one indigo vat, and we actually ran out of cloth before we ran out of color in the vat, so I could have dyed more. The plants, the composted indigo, and dyed cloth were arranged so that they represented the steps of the process. You can see this change in volume as you go from plants in the background to this concentrated dye stuff and then out to this massive expanse of color on cloth.